broche de oro tenemos a nuestro querido Daniel Rojas, que también es parte de todo el equipo en este proceso. Además que hemos estado apoyando también la transmisión por redes sociales, entonces ustedes de pronto han visto que él ha estado ahí haciendo todo el juego de cámaras, enseñando diversas aplicaciones para que todos los que están conectados aprendan muchísimo este día. Entonces ahí estamos con todo ese apoyo técnico y de transmisión por parte de nuestro querido Daniel. Y pues efectivamente él es estudiante de Ciencias de la Computación y Arte. ¿Eres estudiante todavía, Daniel, de esta línea?
Digamos que nunca paro de aprender, porque como decía ahora, la curiosidad nunca acaba.
Genial. Entonces, Daniel seguirá estudiando por muchos años más Ciencias de la Computación y el Arte, y se especializa en ARTECH, un movimiento artístico que combina el arte con las tecnologías inmersivas. Imagínense. Ha mostrado sus propias obras de arte en todo el mundo, lo que permite a las personas viajar mediante el uso de la realidad virtual y utilizar sus grabados para decorar lugares. Daniel studied computer science and art. He specialized in ARTECH, an art movement that combines art with immersive technologies. Has shown his own artworks around the world, allowing people to travel through the use of virtual reality and use his prints to decorate places. Bueno, y además, no se pierdan el café. Daniel fue el primer café con los autores y fue genial. Entonces recuerden también visitar nuestra página y ver los cafés con los autores para que conozcan un poco más de esos speakers que tuvimos, ya que aquí estuvimos en el mundo virtual, allí los tuvimos en el mundo virtual, pero ya se veían ellos en cámara.
Y estuvo rico el café, ¿no?
Estuvo rico el café, así es.
Ok.
Bueno, pues entonces, adelante.
Thank you, Cindy, for your kind words. It is a pleasure for me to be here. I really want to thank God that He gave me one more day of life. Now with all this COVID pandemic reality, we never know when is our time. So thank you, God. I want to share you my life, my experience, and ARTECH. I think it's a movement that I don't know if I've invented, but it combines technology and art. So as you know, my name is Daniel Rojas. I studied at University of Los Andes. I studied computer science, and mostly because one time in Germany, I saw a career that was electronic arts. And I felt that I should study that kind of career because I love technology and I loved photography, but I didn't have the chance to go to Germany. So I just decided that I would try to build my own career. So in Los Andes, in the university, you have that possibility. You can choose whatever course or career professionally. So I built my own electronic arts. I studied computer science and some painting, electronic arts, interaction. So it is amazing how I think that what we study is about what we like, what we love. And if family is supporting us, is so grateful because you are going to use all your time and all your curiosity to start and create more things. Instead, if the family doesn't support, it's complicated. But okay, that's another talk. So, as I tell you, I combined these two since my thesis. And well, before that, my thesis was about creating the installation of Andy Warhol, an artist from the 60s. He made an installation called Silver Clouds, where he wanted to change the human expectation in the sense of everyone in that time thought that everything that goes up comes down immediately. But what he created was a pillow-shaped balloon that instead of just coming back to Earth, it floated. So he, with a German engineer, he built this kind of clouds that are silver and allowed people to feel inside like the clouds. So it was really, really interesting that people entering a room are part of the art that he did. So I did this virtual experience in 2009 with a language that is called IntML. My professor, my thesis professor, invented this language, and I built it for this. It was made in Java, and I use a suit that tracked yourself in 6 degrees of freedom. You can see here. If you also look in YouTube, you search for Silver Clouds, Daniel Rojas, and you will find my video. I'm skinny, but you will understand better that if you move around, you see that there is some red lights. Those red lights are tracking devices that are being projected in this type of cave. It was a cave. The cave is like the first projection of virtual reality, because it started to project in front, to the side, on top, and to the left. In the university, we didn't had all the 6 sides. We had only 3, but it was like the beginning of virtual reality. And one thing I noticed now, and with today and with all the virtual reality experiences that I've seen and tested, is that we lose a lot of sensibility if we don't have feedback. So the feedback is so important because, for example, if you are with the suit and you touch something, but that something doesn't give you a feedback of, for example, vibration, you really don't realize what you are touching, even if you are seeing it. So that's why I think this experience lacks of, maybe, how to say, the sense of sensibility. And I think I could make it better. But for that time, it is like 10, 11 years ago, was fantastic. Now I hope I could make it again with Oculus so everyone can enjoy. In 2012, I started an entrepreneur, a startup called Virtual Step, where we wanted to virtualize all the trade shows in Colombia. So I traveled to New York City to a conference called the IVRPA Association, where I found the best 360 friends. I mean 360 friends because they are all photographers, and they have an incredible form of thinking, because they did this professionally. This was 8 years ago, and it didn't exist now, the 360 cameras. So what they showed me was a possibility on how to create these amazing photographies. I asked to the people here in the room and in YouTube, how do you think I made this New York City picture? Anyone?
Wow.
A question?
¿Cómo se hace? Pregunta.
¿Cómo creen que es esa fotografía?
Con un dron.
Fácil, ¿no?
Con una app.
Muy bien. I'm going to answer in English, okay? But they said with a drone. Well, actually, was made in the terrace of the Empire State Building, because think of it, fly a drone in New York City is, 1, is illegal, and 2, is really dangerous. So what I did, and I inspired from Willie Caimena, that he was the author of this kind of photography. It's called a flying Willie. So he said, if we can break rules, if we are really high enough and we take a lot of pictures around, for example, a terrace, we can then use that kind of photography and stitch it together and create this kind of 360 photography that people think it's made with a drone, but it's really you are from the terrace. So what it took me to take this photo was 2 hours waiting for people to go and walk around all the terrace so I could take it. So my remark on these 360 friends is because I met them personally and I understood and I got involved and in love for 360 because I wanted people to understand or at least to imagine how was it possible to make this kind of photography. So in 2015, I started my first trade show, an art trade show. I was invited by a friend, a photographer, and I never printed a photo. We are in a digital age, but we forgot also about printing our things. You cannot imagine the happiness that I had when I saw a physical print of my photography. I didn't know that my pictures were so high quality because we are so accustomed to see in digital screens and our phones, but when you have it physically, you can understand like the impact that you can make. So that was one of the part that I really loved. But when I did this exposition, people around just stared at my pictures and said, wow, how is it possible? How can it be? And all my photography since the beginning, they are interactive. You can scan a QR code and you can go inside the photography, sharing with me the moment that I took the photography. So that was like a really special moment for me. And then I decided to start looking for better materials. And also a photographer, a friend of mine, said, why you do it squared? Why don't you do it circled? Because you want to give attention to the center. And in this kind of words, you already know, it's called little planets. So I started to create them circled. So here you see, this was already in 2016. I tried to apply to art galleries, but I realized that the easiest way to show yourself is to go outside the markets. So I went to the design district and I started to share my prints. Here you can see me in a near 1.5 meters tall diameter, a print of Bogota, where I applied the same knowledge of New York. You can see the lady that is using VR goggles, cardboards, and you can all see this. Then I was able to go and share my prints all over the world. I've been able to go to Rome. Here I have one of the pictures of palenqueras. I work with an illustrator that's called Manuela Echeverri. She paints over my pictures. I've been also in Tokyo 2 years ago. I was able to share 6 of my pictures, and also I realized that people can also not only decorate their walls, but also they can have like a souvenir. So I started to make coasters that you can see here, and here is an exposition in Bogota, and it's really lovely because when you have the support of your family, everything changes. So here you can see a part of my exposition in Bogota. I have from small coasters of 10 centimeters to a giant print of 1 meter in diameter. I use different materials, platinum paper, aluminum, acrylic, and other kind of materials that gives high quality prints and also a great experience. I want to show you my series of art. So this series is called Mundos de mi Tierra. That I started with that because was the first like little projection that I learned, no? The little planets, tiny planets, pequeños mundos. But these are really interesting because people outside the circle don't know about it. So we can give a lot of impact to them. Then I created bubbles in 360. Bubbles are like, I wanted people to think that they were really bubbles, but in reality they are plain, they are flat. But the curiosity about this is that you can see it physically the same, but when you enter in the virtual part in a website, my idea is that you feel and you see the same characteristics. So at the end, I'm going to show you my website, but when you enter one of these, the idea is that you see as if it was in reality. And the cool stuff like this series was an accident. I wanted to try another type of things, and I realized that this kind of projection made me feel about how we can see a landscape and the reality if we travel at the speed of light. So this is like that kind of idea. If you scan the code, you can go inside and you will see that it starts as you are seeing the physical, or in this case, the virtual image. So I always try to interpret the same physical to virtual. A little bit of myself also. I'm a co-founder of 3Go Video. We specialize on creating immersive technologies, as you've seen, virtual reality, augmented, and AI. You can scan if you want to follow us on Snapchat or Instagram. We have also a community that is called the VR Community of Colombia. We are 700 people, and this kind of events allow us, everyone, to share and to grow, because I think that if we share our knowledge, we are going to help not only Colombia but Latin America to grow. So I think it's great what we are doing. And to finish, just to tell you that this is one of the giant prints that I have. I am a tall person. My height is 180, but this print is really high, really big. And when I did it, I never thought that I could sell it, because one, it was really big, and two, it was expensive. But what I realized is that there is a market for everything. Don't be afraid, just go out and show your stuff, because people, there is so much diversity that you will be like thrilled and shocked of what you can do. Here you can see also some sculptures that I made that are interactive. The first one, the black and white, I was inspired by this artist, Colombian, that is called Omar Rayo. So as I cannot paint, I printed. And the second one is inspired on my arts that are from the speed of light. All of them are in the one from the travel that I made to Tokyo. All my travels have been not only for vacation, but also because I've been invited by Google, by Unity, by different type of events. and I always carry my camera. So because I don't know where or when I will have the opportunity to create this kind of photography. So my advice is to always take out your camera. If you want to try an augmented reality filter that I've made, you can scan my code. This type of QR code is from Instagram. So you need to access your Instagram and scan it. There you can access the tab of filters, and you will see in your house a table, in your dinner table, with some of my coasters and my art. You can choose whatever you want, and you can buy if you want through my website. And that's it. That is who I am. Thank you for having me. This is my website where you can go and enter and see all my stuff.
Wow, amazing presentation. Someone have a question? Please press the button 0. This. If you have a question. Andres have a question.
In fact, I wrote them and I have several questions for him.
No, just one, just one.
No.
Okay. Our band is coming, also want to hear to put the music and then.
Okay, no, I just want to know how you were able to manage the difference of lighting between the time and the position of each one of the pictures you were using to create the 360 image or panoramic image.
Yes, great question. So in 360 photography, there is you need to put your camera, your professional camera, in manual mode, and you need to expose in a lighting that is not so subexposed or overexposed. Is a thing of practice, but you can achieve. And I use a program to stitch it that is called PTGUI, where you can nivellate or evaluate the different type of lights of exposition. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. And which camera are you using? Sorry.
Well, I started with a Canon 7D. It's not full professional, but it is a great camera. But now I'm using the Sony Alpha 6400 with an adapter with a lens 8mm. If you need more assistance, I'm glad to help you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Que comience la rumba.
Wow. Bueno, Cindy, ¿tienes algo, preguntas?
Estaban diciendo precisamente que si das algún taller, un profe está diciendo que si das algún taller de manejo de todas las plataformas 360, que le parece chévere porque había seguido ese profe Jorge Triana, que escribió en Facebook. Entonces, que le parece interesante si de pronto pues te puede contactar o qué puede hacer, digamos, para hacer estos talleres porque quiere aprender este tipo de recursos y materiales. Sí,
claro que sí. De hecho, hace 3 años fuimos a la comunidad de Mecoclí, en el Urabá antioqueño, ¿verdad? Y enseñamos cómo hacer fotografía 360 a niños, que pues les llevamos celulares, les enseñamos a hacer la fotografía y a que ellos mismos vean cómo pueden generar contenido. Porque algo que sucede en la sociedad es que estamos consumiendo mucho, pero no estamos generando contenido. Y esa es la diferencia que podemos hacer. Entonces, este taller, como otros, pues lo podemos dar. Así que, call me.
Ok. Y me da risa porque en Facebook te dijeron que...
¿Qué?
Te dijeron que si estudias o trabajas, ¿y que cuántos años tienes?
Uy.
Andrea Pardo.
Uy. No, estoy casado.
¿Sí? No, Andrea, lo siento.
Lo siento, 5 años.
Ay, ese no es el botón. Ay, qué risa
Daniel,
en Facebook.
Daniel también estaban diciendo, digamos que si se puede, que tienen, digamos, otro lugar donde pues, para contactarte, además de la página que compartes allí, que puedan ver tu trabajo. Me escribió también Manuel, me escribió también Mauricio desde Canadá, te están escuchando y te están viendo y que quisieran, si es posible, poder ver tu trabajo porque les gustaría compartirlo en Canadá.
Claro, sería un honor para mí poder ir o solamente mandar las obras ya en estas realidades, pero sí, con gusto. Pues en mi página, danielrojas.com, en Instagram, ahí están todos mis datos, celular, correo. Un gusto poder apoyarlos.
Sí. Perfecto. Muchísimas gracias. Podemos oprimir el botón de 2 y 1. Y bueno, la foto final. Juan, vamos a tomarnos una foto. ¿Será que puedes pasar un momentico para tomarnos una foto? Publicamos en el evento. Les somos los nombres que ganaron los certificados. Y pues con todas.